The following is a public access production. It is not produced, sponsored, or endorsed by this station, the local government, or the cable providers. The program producer is solely responsible for the content of this program.
Hi, welcome to John McHugh. Thank you for joining us. Today we've got Field Marketing Manager from Coldwell Banker, Rachel Jacobs. Rachel, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
Thank you for coming. It's always an exciting time when you're here, when we get to talk about what goes on behind the scenes and in the public eye when we're marketing and advertising properties. There's so much behind it. When you open those full color magazines or you see those beautiful images on the TV or online, Instagram, TikTok, everything is there, but it's really specifically created by many people so that the whole impression comes out right. So marketing and advertising, what drew you into marketing and advertising in real estate?
It's just so much fun. Like, I've always loved marketing and I've always loved advertising. I mean, back in the 1900s, as my son would say, I had a lot of magazine subscriptions. So I really loved looking at all the different advertising, the photography. I just loved everything about it. And I think sometimes that's just how my brain is wired, because even when, I'm just out going about my business, whether I'm shopping or, wherever I may be, I love seeing branding and I love seeing how personalities are reflected in that. So it's just always kind of been something that interested me. It's like when I'm
driving down a road, the same road anyone else might be on, the for sale signs jump out at me like that, maybe more
exactly.
than someone else. And I think that's what makes you as dynamic as you are, because everyone's a little bit different, but you're definitely not a boring office type that just sits there. You're full of personality and you see it in the work. Everyone's a little bit different, but you are incredibly enthused about your work, but there's a balance with it because you're marketing properties and you're marketing agents.
Yeah. And
That's
it's never
totally
boring.
Different job, yeah. Then I know. Tell me about doing both of those. The balance between both.
Well, from one thing to the next, it's never the same, right? No property's ever the same. All the agents' personalities are completely different. So it's my job to capture what makes everyone and every property unique and really, bring those best qualities to the forefront. And that's what I love about it, is just because it's never the same job from one day to the next. And I'm never really sure what I'm going to be doing exactly from one moment to the next. So
and specifically because you do a number of offices. I work with her in the Wellesley office and we cover Natick together. But what's your wide range of offices?
Oh, pretty much the Boston, greater Boston area, a little bit of Manhattan. I've been doing Manhattan for the past 4 years, and that's another, branding overload because just, being immersed in the city. But any downtown, really, you're just seeing all the different branding and the way that people represent their businesses, and it's all exciting.
And I love to hear about it. And now that we're on the show, I think that others don't realize that when I meet with her for either a specific property marketing need or for working on my own presence, we wind up talking about all kinds of things that are off like exactly the topic we're working on, because I find it really fascinating, and I know the audience will too. When you work on properties, how do you come up with different campaigns and different ways to reach the potential buyer depending upon the property, its location, and its size?
Well, I think you got to know your audience, right? So with every property, you have the home itself, you have the land, you have the neighborhood, you have the community, and it's taking all of those elements, style-wise, and putting that into something that's going to be attractive and find that buyer. Of course, we also want to make sure that the client's well taken care of when it comes to the advertising as well. So we try to cover all bases, hit all angles, but it's, every house has, unique features. It has something special about it, and there is a buyer out there for it. So it's my job to help try to attract that specific buyer.
And I think that you're a perfect complement to agents who go in and they see the house. And I think it can be easy for agents to apply the same template to multiple properties and have success. But then when you have something else, it's nice to have another pair of eyes that's specifically trained to present it to the public so that we can really make the most of that individual property.
Yeah, exactly. So brand consistency is super important. So we don't want to, discount that. We want to make sure that your brand is represented so people know that it's your marketing. They know exactly, what they're looking at when they see it. But we want to make sure that it's tailored to that specific property and that it makes the most sense for the item that the property in this case that's being sold.
Right, and so then you'll switch to helping an agent. You'll meet with an agent, and there are all sorts of tools at any given agent's disposal, which could be anything from a client management center. It could be their own personal lists, or it could be the tools that they use that are derivatives of MLS, where they send listings out to their clients, postcards, brochures. And I think it's that mix that makes your job very specific and very complex. Because I know personally, you've helped me a great deal to be able to reach my audience, a wider audience. At the same time, we'll use the pieces that we created together for my properties to say, this is what I can do, this is what I have done. And bringing it all together like that, I don't know that a lot of experts like you are out there, and if they are, it must be incredibly expensive to hire them because it's a great service that you offer.
Yeah, well, it's never going to be a one-size-fits-all, just because every personality is different and everybody's marketing is going to look different. So what I do with you for you, it's going to look different from one agent to the next, because I really want to bring out your strengths and what you're best at and make sure that your personality is represented in all the marketing materials that we put out there. And you've had a great year, so congrats to that.
Well, thanks to you. I'm working on it. So are you telling me that that's how you would establish strong working relationships with agents who all have different personalities, is by approaching each situation differently?
Absolutely. I like to know a little bit about who they are, what their goals are, because that's going to look different person to person too. And like what they're looking to put into it as well. Is the marketing something that you're behind a little bit? Are you involved in your personal marketing, or are you looking just to have it established and just kind of run on its own? So there's different levels of that as well. But yeah, every situation is different.
Yeah, and I'm going to let you in on an industry secret right now. When I meet with Rachel and other people with marketing, I have a vision. After speaking with the seller, I have a vision of exactly what I want to do for this property. I'm going to blow people away, and I'll begin crafting the entire project just like this on a blank piece of paper, and I'll think this is exactly how I want it to appear, and I want it to be very specific because this home is special. I want to make sure that it's got the most beautiful windows, and this is how they should look. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to present my entire idea to you, and I'll bring it to you like this with my own idea, and it usually looks something like this.
It's true.
That's what it might look like, because I am not the specific person whose hands are on the design tools to translate the thoughts of the seller and how I want the vision to run. But that's what you'll do, and it'll turn around into the most beautiful ad that you've ever seen just by me coming in with my ideas. That's got to take a lot of patience.
Well, I truly enjoy it, to be honest. Like, I love every detail. I love going through every bit of it, and I love, seeing it executed. So, from the hand-drawn notes or whatever it is that we pull inspiration from, I love seeing whatever that piece is that we're working on come to fruition. That's always super fun for me.
And I love having a team of people that can bring the ideas and the thoughts to fruition and make sure that it all happens and all looks good. Because I think that together we all do a lot better. When we can bring all of that to the client instead of just an individual opinion or service, or heaven forbid, the type of individual that might say, this is what you have to do. You have to do it this way. Well, that's not what it's about, Yeah, it's about making everyone comfortable and doing the best thing to get the deal done.
We have a great team. I absolutely agree.
What's the first thing, Rachel, that you look for when you're developing a new campaign for a listing? If you're a new listing that's coming up, what's the first thing that you think of, the first steps you take when you want to develop a new campaign?
Well, obviously, we want to get excellent photography. That's going to be the first thing that any campaign is going to start with. We want to make sure that those photos put this home in its best light. So that's super important. And I make sure that, even if we know that home is going to sell, within days of being on market, you still need those good photos.
They'll last a lifetime too.
They'll last a lifetime. You're going to want to use those in your marketing for yourself. You're going to want to use those in presentations. So anytime someone has come to me and said, hey, I'm putting this on the market. I think I'm just going to take my own photos, or I don't really think we need to get photography. I would definitely discourage from that, because the photos, that's what someone's going to see when they are online. When they get that alert, if they're signed up for property alerts and they're seeing that a new property has hit the market, they're going to look at those photos first. So that's first and foremost. And then it really is, dependent on the property itself. If it's a luxury property that may take a little longer, maybe on the market a little bit longer, we'll go through the plan of marketing a luxury property, and often that includes digital advertising and print advertising. Sometimes we'll start, like if it's a really hot market and we know that this is a hot property, we'll start with the digital advertising because we also want to make that work for our agents so that they're getting the recognition that they deserve on, selling a beautiful property. So there's a couple different ways that you can go with that, but it all starts with that photography. We want to make sure that your property looks good, but we also want to make sure that you look good. And
you want the agent to look good. You talked about the incorporation of them and their personal brand. How do you incorporate their personal brand into their own marketing so that they make the most of the house without losing their individuality?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to make sure that, this is your business. So we want to make sure that you look good. We want to make sure that your branding is consistent and truly represents the experience that someone would have working with you specifically. So, while many agents have the backing of a brokerage, as you do, we want to make sure that your brand, your style, your business is brought into that as well, and that, clients take notice, and that anybody visiting the home, buyers or other potential sellers who may be in the neighborhood checking out what's on the market, that they know what to expect when working with you.
And that makes complete sense, and I agree with that. And I was wondering, when we talk about advertising and the different channels that are available for advertising, which channels are delivering the strongest results right now? And I'm talking property-wide, property non-specific.
Yeah, I'm going to say the targeted digital advertising. I feel like that's huge. I do think that it's really important to agents, whether they're just starting out brand new or established, just to always massage that sphere that you have, the contacts that you already have existing. I think that that's super important. In digital advertising, where do you spend your time looking at advertising? It's probably not leafing through those magazines like I was saying back in the 1900s anymore.
Not anymore. And this is from the professional's point of view. And then you have me, and I've agreed with it, and I've experienced it. And there's all different ways that you can do this. You can do it with video advertising. You can do it with static advertising. You can do it to a limited group of people, or the radius of a property, or a town, and different areas. And it can be very expensive depending upon the saturation rate and how many impressions you're looking to make. And that's one of the reasons I like Instagram, is because I can have a full view. I sent you my analytics from my current running ad right now that just tells you there's all kinds of targeting that you can do, and you've shown me how to do that. With housing, you have to follow all the rules, the fair housing rules, so you can't narrow it down to any age groups or sex, men or women or what have you. So you can narrow it down to interests. You could say, pick an interest. The person is interested in Zillow. I'd like them to see my ad. Person's interested in selling their own home. I'd like them to see my ad. And I sent one today, and we had probably the best analytics we've seen. It was 62% women and the rest men. It was all age ranges, some in the 18 to 25, the 26 plus. The median was probably in the 54 to 64, and then some of the older ones. So a good base right there, and it looks like you're trying to hit everybody with it, because you never know who either is going to be in the market or who knows somebody who might mention something of somebody who might be in the market someday. So that's what you're talking about with digital, top of mind, touching your sphere.
And I love how measurable it is. I love that it gets granular like that, so you can see.
It's maddening to see. Am I making money with this, or is it not a good investment? Because sometimes we put the money in and we see that it didn't hit. Sometimes you hit the wrong keyword and you're advertising in Ohio. I've done it. Yeah. So this is important.
And just seeing who is actually paying attention to your advertising, I think is fascinating. I always love seeing, and then you can say, oh, okay, so I'm really hitting this demographic. Let me see what comes from the next and how we can grow and base our choices off of that.
Right.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
And what type of software platforms do you find the most useful for a professional, and what do you think would be the most approachable for an agent?
To create advertising?
Yeah, for their personal, I'm talking about personal branding. I usually don't suggest that agents create a lot from scratch for their clients. That's what we use
Yeah. So, I mean, there's just so much out there, right? With AI and AI being integrated into pretty much any sort of app that you can use to create content or to create advertising, it's been a game changer. We use a lot of Canva. Canva, I think, is super user friendly.
But it's really hard on the phone.
It's a little clunky.
Very hard on the phone.
I love CapCut. I think CapCut is really user friendly and something that can, get you a polished video within seconds. But honestly, there's so many good ones out there. I use a mixture of them. Sometimes I'll put it through something like Canva and then I'll polish it up through CapCut if I want to. I don't know. There's a lot out there. I use ChatGPT sometimes to get some inspiration for things. One of the things that I wanted to tell you that I thought was really interesting is one day on my way into the office, I was listening to a podcast, and they had all of these really great ideas of how to use AI for managing your day and daily tasks, but for business. So they were saying to speak to me in the voice of, and it was a well-known coach, that you would pay thousands for. And this is what my schedule looks like. How am I going to get all my tasks completed by the end of the day? Or build me a business plan. And it will take everything because, these coaches that are out there or different sources that you may like or gravitate to, they're published. So they exist somewhere out there. So they will AI will gather that information and will make a plan for you. So for me, I have a lot going on day to day. I'm in different offices. I'm meeting with different people. So, I just think tools like that you can say, simplify my schedule. This is what I have going on today. Where should I start? And then it breaks everything down. I don't know. There's so many different things you can do with AI these days. It's very interesting.
So you can see how we get distracted and get onto other points when you will even help people with their day and focusing on how they are to implement working on their personal branding and making sure the advertisements are moving the property to the most potential buyer pool. I love it.
These are the things that I want to achieve for this property, or by mid-year, Rachel, how do I do it? And, getting some inspiration from all the things that are available with AI is mind-blowing.
Now,
so that's
I have a question for you with that, and I appreciate that. We recently have had a couple of clients when we're talking about analytics that I want to be able to demonstrate to them how many people are looking, or here's the effectiveness of your marketing and advertising, because quite often they don't have an Instagram account, a TikTok account, a Facebook account, or maybe even LinkedIn. So they see everything that's in print and they see the website and the main ads, but when you do have those platforms and you're constantly seeing the posts that we put out, it's good. So for the people that don't, we send a weekly update of the combined web hits that we have from Coldwell Banker Home, Zillow, Trulia, a couple of others. And the reason I wanted to mention this is some numbers look good on paper, but they don't actually sell homes. For instance, we've had over 9,000 views on one property listing that I've heard of, and the seller will say, that's great, why don't we try this? Why don't we try that? And I'll be thinking we could try many, many things. We've got a lot of professional advertising going on here, and we've got 9,000 hits. That's great, and you want to keep it going, right? But what actually it says is we've had 9,000 people look at that and dismiss the property for one reason or another.
Yeah, and I think on some of the advertising that is meant to drive engagement, it's meant to get clicks, it's meant to get those engaged leads off of it. If you're seeing that there are 9,000 views on it, but you only have 200 clicks, and then you only have 3 engagements on it, it's kind of telling the story of where the interest is with that particular ad. Doesn't mean that particular property, but that particular ad. So it's getting a lot of people that are looking at it. That's great. These are the people that are interested in that type of product, in this case, a property. But okay, so it goes from 9,000 and now you're down to 200 people that are actually taking the time to click on it to learn more.
Great way to measure it.
And then everyone has passed on it except for those 3 that have left behind their information. And those are still usually somebody that's just kind of interested in either seeing the pictures or wondering what the address is. So, that tells the story of, okay, this is a property that's getting a lot of views. It's, it's getting in front of, these people. It looks great, but it's not getting the engagement. So what's the move from here?
So when we see that big number, when I've heard of someone receiving 9,000, it needs to be clearly explained where that comes from and what it really means.
Yeah. And then, and on the flip side, sometimes we'll have a property that, well priced, hot location, sometimes it's priced to drive that, frenzy, the open house frenzy, but you'll see that it has 3,000 views, but it has 847 clicks, and then there's like 100 and something engagements on it, and that's probably a property that's also telling a story that, okay, this is a hot property, it's not going to last long.
And I will say the same thing sideways to my seller clients. I will say, well, this is the price that you want. This is the price that, is probably the fair market value. So if we start at this number that you're saying, and we have 15 people at the open house and 3 offers in the first week, then we know that the buyer pool is considering it somewhat of a value. But if we have very few people attend, we don't have any showing requests, and we don't have any offers in 2 weeks, I think that's the buyer pool in the market speaking to you, saying it may be, one way or the other.
They're holding out for some reason or other.
for some reason. I wanted to ask you, how have seller expectations changed over the years? You've been doing this for many years. I've been doing it for 26 years. How do you feel that seller expectations, being on the forefront of creating the marketing and advertising, have changed?
Yeah, and over the years, as I learned more about real estate, because I didn't have a real estate background, I'm not a real estate agent, I'm not licensed, I do marketing. That's my expertise that I bring to the table. So learning about this industry that's completely different from anything that I've done before, and now it's been 12 years, so I've been in it for a while. But the market has shifted in many different ways. I want to say when I first started in 2014, I noticed that there was a lot of inventory. It took a little bit longer for it to move. But then recently, we saw sellers' expectations where, COVID hits, people are moving out of urban areas, getting these bigger properties, and then having that shift back a little bit. But I do think that sellers do still think that the pricing is going to look a certain way, and that's not necessarily the case. They really need an expert like yourself, like the agents that are out there, to let them know what their home is worth in today's market, because it does change all the time.
Whether they're selling today or selling in 10 years, whatever the plan is, it could shift like this.
It does all the time.
Always a good idea. Would you agree? It's always a good idea to know the fair market value of your home.
Absolutely. That's the first step.
That's your leverage.
Yeah.
And that's what you have going for you.
Yep.
What exciting projects or goals are on your horizon right now, Rachel?
Oh my goodness, so many. So the past year, I really took a deep dive into social. So I've always had social media. It wasn't always my focus. I have a graphic design background, so I've kind of always done.
What's your IG tag, please?
Oh, it is Rachel from Boston.
Good,
so,
thanks.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Yes, and if you see this and follow me, definitely let me know that you saw the show and that you're following me from the show. Give it a shout. But yeah, so just social. I, again, as a marketing professional that works exclusively with a brokerage, I don't have a business to promote myself, so I never really took the dive myself into social media for me. I do, of course, with agents all day, every day, but I thought that while I'm creating all of this content, why don't I practice what I preach? And so I've been doing a lot more social, a lot more photos, videos, stories, day in the life type content, because I really want to get to know even the equipment that they have, whether it's lighting or microphones, whatever it is.
Your content is spectacular, specifically that which you create yourself. Different. It's like I said about bringing different perspective to the project. The way that you zoom in or close up on things that I kind of didn't even notice before. I'm really impressed with that.
Thank you. Well, and we have some really great vendors out there that do social media management, but the agents that want to do it themselves, I really want to be able to show you how to do that and make it look professional. So that's been a huge goal for me, and I'm going to definitely continue that into 2026. I want to learn more about all the different technologies, equipments, and apps that they have for creating content and be able to pass that along.
That's something for the viewers to keep an eye on, is to see what she's talking about, the different ways. And you can keep in mind, there are people out there like Rachel who will help agents set up their social media accounts. So even if you just start with Instagram, take a look if you're seeing a whole group and compare them and see, this is what this person chose to do. This is what the other one did. And then you can see maybe someone who either hired a professional social media company. Are they even behind it? Do they, see all the posts? Someone who's learning on their own and they're trying this avenue or that avenue, or someone who's getting some professional coaching to balance it out and see. Just that one thing right there is one of the differences between real estate agents, and you could go full on, or you could dabble in it, and it's one step at a time. But you've evolved. You have a really professional account. It always looks good.
Thanks.
Yeah. What other social
I'm having a
medias
lot
do
of
you
fun.
like?
Yeah, so I don't do so much Facebook. That's pretty much for me, at least. Again, not a professional
But you're
selling a professional
responsive on
service.
it.
I am. Well, and a lot of friends and family. So I do have that. I use YouTube, and I'm starting to use TikTok a little bit, but mostly for editing. I haven't gone into TikTok to create my own content, though I have helped agents, with their TikTok.
And you like YouTube?
I do like YouTube.
Any
I think
specific channels you recommend?
Of course, your channel.
Thank you.
You can see all of your videos from this show on that.
I'll have to check it out, right?
It's a good one. But I think that video content is going to continue to be huge and get you more views, more attention, more followers. So I think having a YouTube channel is smart because you're pulling content all the time from there. I pull from yours all the time to help you create your content.
I have to say, I want the audience to know, I had a whole list of questions, and before I even got to them, she hit them first. I mean, this is working. I wanted to have it prepared for a marketing professional, and she hit the questions before we got there. So it's like she's teaching the people who do marketing and advertising how to apply the marketing and advertising. And I think that's pretty genius, We've worked together for a long time, and I enjoy it. I get a lot from you. I love your enthusiasm, and I always feel like I've got something else to do. As an agent, when we're working as hard as we can, there's an up and down, there's an ebb and a flow in the business, and I always feel like I've got something to work on, or something that, let's see if this works, or if that works. And how do you stay freshly motivated all the time to apply these different aspects to realtors?
I'm always pulling inspiration. So wherever I go, if I see something that sparks that creative energy that I think, oh my gosh, I got to tell John about this ad that I saw because they used this angle on this photo that was really key, and I think that would be something that maybe we should experiment with. I'm just always looking and always pulling inspiration. So that's how I try to keep it fresh all the time, is just keeping my eyes open and taking from what's around me, and being able to expand on that creatively. I really do have so much fun with it, and anytime that I work with agents, I want to make sure that they have a good experience working with me and getting their marketing out, because I don't want it to be daunting. I don't want it to be overwhelming. And I want them to have fun. I want them to be happy with the end result. So, and
I've experienced this. It's not just talk, and you're very good at it, and it's legit. And you've helped me quite a bit, and I appreciate it very much. Helped me to boost my sales and my own personal marketing and advertising. Plus, you've got a 15-year-old son, Joel.
14, but yes.
14-year-old, just turned 14, sorry.
Yep.
And you managed to, being a mom really well, and working in all different cities all the time. How many offices do you work in generally in a week?
Oh, probably 5 or 6 in a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of some exciting changes that we don't even know are going to happen. Like AI kind of took over. It was like 2020, 2025 kind of. Wasn't that when it kind of first went public?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like it's been
everyone's using it.
Yeah, I feel like it's been around for quite some time, but really businesses starting to use it, and it has really come into focus.
That's what I meant. Yeah, more people than ever.
Yeah, more than ever right now, for sure.
I can't wait to see what 2026 is going to bring that we're not even aware of yet.
Me too.
We'll see what happens. And will you come back here to discuss it with me?
Yes, absolutely.
I would love that. Rachel Jacobs, Field Marketing Manager for Coldwell Banker. Always a pleasure to have her insights and have her on the show. We appreciate you joining us. Look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.